Hello everyone. Today we will be attempting to make a red cherry shrimp colony in this jar. The jar I am using is a 2-liter coffee jar which I have washed out properly. The first step to making this shrimp jar is to add rocks to the bottom. These rocks are of multiple sizes and their purpose is to add area for the plants to grow their root system. This will also add surface area for beneficial bacteria to form on. I have made the rocks slanted just as preference to make the jar look a little better to me. This doesn't really matter though. Next, I will crush up some root tabs and the substance will look like this. This substance will be put into the jar to help fertilize the plants. In this clip, I am adding the fertilizer to the rocks and then I am also changing the rocks around just to help spread out the fertilizer. Doing this also made the structure slightly flatter, so after I cap the sand on top, it would look pretty much flat anyways. The next step is to cap the rocks with some sand. This can be any sand, but I preferably use some sand from an older aquarium. This will help with beneficial bacteria in the tank. I also use sand from multiple aquariums, so the sand may look like different colors, but hopefully it looks right. In the camera you can't really tell though. After adding the sand, I just patted it down to try to get my ideal shape again. This took quite a while though. The next and hardest step for me was adding the aquarium plants. As you can see, I first attempted to put it in with the tweezer, but eventually that didn't work and I just used my fingers. The stem plant I am using in here is just water wisteria. Water wisteria will be the only plant that I'm planting into the sand. I will also add a small bit of java moss in here. This is the java moss I'll be using. Any other plants I use will most likely be floating on the surface. I then added some rocks for decoration. These rocks were rounder and smoother, so I thought they would look better on the top. This will also add surface area and help add hiding spaces for the cherry shrimp that I'll be putting in here. The next step is adding the water. First I will place some napkins in order to stop the sand from being disturbed. I will then use a small siphon and put water into the jar via the siphon. I'll speed this up so you can see a time lapse of the jar filling up with water. After adding the water, I'll be placing frog bait and hornwort on the top to float. This is a quick view of what the bottom of the jar will look like. As you can see, it seems not all of the root tabs got crushed, which is those little yellow pellets. I also forgot to mention before that the sand has some calcium in it via the use of seashells. This is a top view of the jar. As you can see, it looks like a little piece of duckweed has also entered. I attempted to bury the remaining parts of the root tab, but I was unsuccessful. Eventually, I just left them on there because they should not harm the shrimp in any way. This is what the shrimp jar looks like at this point. I am quite happy with how it turned out. I also thought that it would be a good idea to add some botanicals to create biofilm in here. Now the red cherry shrimp I've chosen is named Cherry, because why not? She's a female shrimp and she is berried because she will be the only one going into here. It's kind of hard to see in the container, but she definitely is berried. She's not the highest quality of cherry shrimp, but I think she'll be a fine contestant for this jar. There's also some floating embulia that I'll be putting in here. And now it's time to drip acclimate. After drip acclimating for 1 hour, we will add in the embulia and the red cherry shrimp. As you can see, I just placed in the embulia, and now I'll place in the red cherry shrimp with the net. As you can see, she instantly lands in the water wisteria, and it doesn't seem there are any problems just yet. Now we can close up this jar. In 1 month, I hope to give you all good news about how Cherry is doing in this jar. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope to see you all in the future.